Good morning, friends. Today I am out here trying to build a healthy habit of getting out with the sun and waking up. It is 6:15. I woke up at 6, so first 15 minutes I'm getting out here, which is kind of important that I get out here quickly because I wake up my son at 6:30, and we breastfeed out here. We do the first nursing session of the day out here. Just it helps wake him up, otherwise he just cries inside and won't let me wake him up. And it's important for me to have a strict schedule with him so that he'll sleep better at night. He did not sleep good last night, despite us doing this the last 2 days. So I'm tired this morning, but hopefully it'll start getting better. I'm gonna keep doing this. I know regardless it's good to set your circadian rhythm, and I'm happy about that. But today I want to talk about adrenal fatigue. I know I have done a video on the GAPS diet. I did the stage 1 of the GAPS diet, and I was moving through the stages of the GAPS diet. I had planned on posting every single week about it, but I was just getting a little weird because I was on stage 1, then I would add a food, and then that food wouldn't work, and so I just wasn't feeling really comfortable about just doing a stage by stage video about it. So that's why I didn't do that. But now I'm going to talk about adrenal fatigue because I think I did the GAPS diet for about a month, and it started out really well where I wasn't having any symptoms, but then different symptoms popped up in different ways. And then I kind of had like a really emotional time, and a couple other things happened that made it so that I stopped doing the GAPS diet. It kind of happened kind of slowly where I just cheated like once, and then it turned into like more and more and more. And I don't want to say cheated. I kind of took it as more like I was just like going to let myself enjoy one thing, and then it turned into more and more things. And then it turned into where I was like binging things. Like I bought like a Costco size thing of chocolates, and I ate the whole entire thing, which is really embarrassing. Well, I gave my son 2 pieces, and I felt so sick I couldn't finish the last 2 pieces. But I had like 28 like little mini size pieces of chocolate, which is kind of embarrassing. But that's what I did. And so at the same time, I really enjoyed listening to the Wellness Mama podcast. At about the same time, somebody came on the Wellness Mama podcast called Isabella Wentz. She's a pharmacist, and she up to this point has mainly done like things about thyroids and healing your thyroid naturally. And even though I have thyroid stuff in my family, I've never had my thyroid levels off, but I've always had like this, I've kind of had thyroid symptoms like this, like aversion to cold, really just like fatigued symptoms like that. And so she came out with a new book, and that's why she was on the podcast, kind of like, promoting her book, called The Adrenal Transformation Protocol. And the book is about helping people with adrenal fatigue. And listening to the podcast, and then I ended up buying the book on Audible and just reading through the book on Audible. Like every single symptom she said was like, bang, 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 those are my symptoms. And so she does talk about in the book like people who, like, I guess in the medical world, which I'm a nurse, so I guess I'm in the medical world, but as far as like doctors and stuff go, there's like a lot of controversy on whether or not adrenal fatigue is real. And basically she breaks it down into saying that it's really just a confusion. Confusion's not the right word, but a confusion on the terminology. Like doctors in like the normal world don't like the term adrenal fatigue, and it's really HPA axis dysfunction. And so it seems kind of like silly to gaslight people on their symptoms based on the fact that they don't agree with the term, but the symptoms are real and the physiology behind the symptoms are real. So telling people their symptoms aren't real, or hey, your lab work is fine, so I'm just gonna send you home, is really kind of stupid in my opinion. And I honestly have heard like enough stories of people like fighting for their symptoms that I don't even feel comfortable going to like a regular doctor, because I've gone to a regular doctor and I've had my lab work tested and they say it's fine, and it's just like, it's annoying to pay for a medical bill like that when I know I'm having symptoms. Like, I'm 28 years old and I feel completely exhausted upon waking. I feel exhausted throughout the day. I feel exhausted at night. And so the way she explains it is there's 3 types of adrenal. I'm going to use adrenal fatigue because HPA axis dysfunction, or we can just call it adrenal dysfunction. Let's call it adrenal dysfunction. How does that sound? 3 different types of adrenal dysfunction. You start off with your cortisol super high, and then you can go on a cortisol roller coaster, and then at a certain point you just have low cortisol function. And she explains it like your adrenals can still produce cortisol, but they're just not. And it sounds like it's kind of like an insulin sensitivity. At some point your body just gets used to a certain amount of glucose, and so your insulin isn't produced as much. Same thing with the stress. Your body's just like, I'm constantly stressed, so forget about it. I'm not releasing cortisol anymore. So based on the symptoms in her book, she goes through all the symptoms, and she said when she was testing people, she could tell based on their lab work what their symptoms were going to be like. And so based on my symptoms, I think I am at the low end of like having cortisol released right now. Some of the symptoms I'm having right now is just being like completely exhausted 24/7. Working out doesn't make me feel better. It makes me feel more exhausted. Like yesterday, I went on 2 walks. They're like less than 20-minute walks, 15-minute walks down the road and back. And I just woke up this morning just feeling zapped of energy completely. And I lead a pretty active lifestyle. Like, I'm up walking about most of the day with my kids. I don't sit down a lot. And yeah, I'm just like, I didn't sleep well last night either, but like my body is physically exhausted. Let's see, what other symptoms am I having? So the exhaustion, the fatigue, which is the same thing. The body aches. My body just aches, and my muscles just feel tired. Okay, so back to the GAPS diet. Why I stopped the GAPS diet is I was binging and binging. And then about the same time, Dr. Isabella Wentz came on the podcast, and I was like, those are my symptoms. And so I read the book, and so it sounds like my body, like, because when I first started the GAPS diet, I lost like 5 pounds pretty quickly within the first week, and I lost 3.5 pounds within the first 5 days. And I think it was mostly water weight. I think I was holding on to a lot of weight, a lot of water. I feel super swollen upon waking. I feel tired, and so the binging is, I think I need to deal with my cortisol levels first and let my body know that it's safe before I go to the GAPS diet. So I don't want to think of it like I failed doing the GAPS diet. I want to think of it like I'm pivoting from the GAPS diet, because the diet that she recommends in the protocol is pretty much it is a paleo diet, and GAPS is a form of a paleo diet. And so I'm not going to be like saying that I'm not doing the GAPS diet anymore. I'm pivoting from the GAPS diet, and honestly it's more of a full GAPS diet. I'm not going to be doing any dairy though. I think I'm having a problem with that, and the Adrenal protocol doesn't recommend dairy for 21 days, so I'm going to do that. It's a 4-week plan. She has a bunch of supplements that she recommends. You don't have to take them, but she says you can heal faster. I mean, she's a pharmacist, so I kind of I do appreciate the supplement recommendations. She's also a nursing, I don't know if she's currently nursing, but she went through, like, she developed this protocol while she was nursing a baby. So I think that's really cool that a lot of practitioners don't recommend to nursing moms. And so it's hard to find help. And so I'm gonna be doing that. Pretty much I'm just going to be sending my body safety signals, and so a couple of the ways I'm going to be doing that is eating every 2 to 3 hours. And I think with the GAPS diet, I would like eat a lot of food for breakfast, and then I wouldn't be hungry till noon. I would eat like 10 eggs and I wouldn't be hungry till noon, and I was like, okay, this is good, this is great. And then sometimes I would go and I would go grocery shopping or whatnot, and I wouldn't get home till like 2 or 3. And I wouldn't eat until then, and I'd be like, well, I'm hungry, but I'm fine. Like, I feel fine. I feel like my blood sugar is stabilized and everything. And I think I got to the point where my body wasn't feeling safe anymore, and like it needed to hold on to food. So when I started eating other food, my body was like, give it all to me, and I'm gonna binge the crap out of everything. So yeah, not cool by any means. So what I'm trying to say is I'm going to be doing the adrenal transformation protocol. I think I'm going to make a video about the things that I'm going to be trying, and maybe it's a 4-week plan, so maybe I'll go week by week what I'm doing. I'm not going to be doing all the supplements because I'm just not money-wise. I'm not going to do it right now. But I think I'm going to start with magnesium. I'm going to pick up some magnesium. I did buy some Tulsi tea. I like drinking tea anyways, and it's not like an expensive tea. So I'm going to be drinking Tulsi tea, which is an adaptogen, and yeah, go from there. So if you guys want to follow along, if you're feeling like you have the same symptoms, then follow along. Definitely check out the book if you want to. It's called Adrenal Transformation Protocol by Dr. Isabella Wentz, and that's what I'm going to be following. I'll see you guys later. Bye.